Hi, good afternoon. This is Tom, your MLS administrator for the Jersey Shore MLS, and I want to bring to you another short discussion with somebody that I know from the National Association of Realtors and on the national stage as far as MLS issues. I'd like to introduce you today to Rick Harris, Principal Broker of Coldwell Banker Pro West Ashland out in Ashland, Oregon. And Rick has been quite a force on the national level for a while, as far as looking after MLS issues and technology issues, as you see here by his resume. And let's get right to it. Rick, thanks for talking to me today.
Tom, I appreciate the opportunity.
Now, one of the things I see in our area, Rick, is that typically as we're looking at the changes in the MLS landscape, as the whole technology and the whole industry is moving forward, many of our agents are used to doing things, the same way they've been doing it for years, same old kind of a thing. And, looking at what's happening with the outside influencers coming into the MLS space, first off, my first question to you is, does the agent on the street really need to worry about their economic future?
Well, I appreciate the question, Tom. I think being a working broker, selling real estate every day gives me a kind of unique perspective on the issue. What I know is that consumers in today's marketplace want way more data, want way more information, want way more access to tools that help them understand the real estate market than ever before. And the agent on the street who isn't aware of that consumer demand and working hard to try to meet it certainly needs to worry about their long-term future in the marketplace.
And I'm looking at things, like you said, with the demands of the consumer. And in many cases, I find that it seems like the agents are disconnected from their consumer self. On the one hand, they love shopping on Amazon. They love going online and doing things. But on the other hand, when those technologies come into their business space, they kind of ignore them and downplay them as being, okay, no, it's local. You need to have a professional on the ground. You can't do anything on the internet. Do you see these outside influencers, and who do you see as the outside influencers that are going to be coming into this MLS space?
Well, and I understand the concern of the realtor. We've all been local market experts. That's what we sell. That's the expertise we have that consumers find of value. But when people like the third-party aggregators or large retailers in the world, the Amazons of the world, look at the real estate space, they say, there is a potential for us to earn a fair amount of money out of a marketplace where there's lots of consumers and perhaps service providers who are not keeping up with today's technology. So as an example of that, when a third-party aggregator takes listings, puts them out there for the world, they create an expectation for the consumer. And that expectation is, I can look when I want to look. I have high-quality pictures. I can layer that over with local market information, school districts, tax rates, governmental issues, demographic information. And that makes that consumer much more savvy about your local marketplace, my local marketplace, before they've ever met you. And it also means that as they've learned to shop on sites like Amazon, on all of the retail sites, they're quite used to saying, well, tell me about this and show me a different example of that. And what does this truly cost? And because they have access to so much information via the web, the broker on the street, the agent on the street, really has to step up their game and differentiate what makes their particular local market expertise. Today, the rise of video means that consumers can walk their way through your house. As the third-party aggregators gain information, they aggregate inside pictures, outside pictures. There's technology that can read the contents of a photo and determine the quality of construction inside, whether you've got granite countertops, hardwood floors, vaulted ceilings, crown moldings, high-efficiency appliances, and use those to better inform the public about value. That means to the agent on the street, they have to have something new and different in order to compete.
Now, looking at competition, and we know the big three that are out there on the internet. We know Realtor.com, of course, Zillow and their whole spin-off, all their brands, Trulia, and now there's a lot of other entities. And I think even to some extent, we ignore the likes of Remax.net and ColdwellBanker.net and these large national franchises that have a significant influence and a significant portal in the market. In that case, do you think that is bigger the only better as far as surviving in this marketplace?
Well, and that's an interesting question because people want to believe that bigger is always better. And I'm a believer that bigger is better when it's better. That is, aggregating data together, putting together the efficiencies of a high quality website, meeting the consumer needs, being able to tell the story to the consumer more effectively because you've got the footprint of a Remax or the footprint of a Coldwell Banker, the footprint of a Keller Williams or any of the other major franchisers out. Yes, they have some efficiencies they can do. On the other side, those efficiencies can also be available to smaller brokerages, to smaller MLSs by partnering with neighbors, partnering with others who aggregate services together and then get a better buy on the costs from vendors. Bigger is not always the absolute best, but I will say, even as a small broker, I have 10 in my office. I have a strong market share because I do the fundamentals, but I also do the high quality technology that supports those. So while I list a lot of residential new construction and I list a lot of residential, I'm 30 years in my marketplace, I depend heavily on being able to build on the leverage that my MLS can buy me by partnering with my neighbors, by doing data shares with my neighbors, by creating contractual agreements with neighbors that make it easier and more effective for me to be able to compete against the big aggregators and large brokerages. Bigger can be better, but smaller can be better if it aggregates together technology and tools. Can't be just small, has to be smart about the current environment that we're in.
Right, and I think that would be the thing. Bigger might be better, but small, if it's nimble, you can really keep your place in the market. And in the marketplace, over the past few years, I've noticed at the different meetings I attend at the national and regional level that there seem to be three groups almost competing for dominance in the listing arena. That you have the brokers, and they seem to be on the one side saying that, hey, all the listings are our property, and who are you as an aggregator to be making money off of my product? Then you have CMLS, the Council of MLS, and they run the MLS industry, which certainly is a lot different than the sales industry. And sometimes it seems like they're saying, hey, the MLS should be in charge of this. Leave the broker and leave the Realtor Association out of it. So it seems like one question should be going forward, who should be driving the bus of the real estate industry?
And that's a great question because I believe it's not either or. I believe it's both and. And by that I mean, MLSs were originally created as a cooperative of brokerages. Brokerages got together and said, I have something you need, you have something I need. I have listings, you have buyers. Let's find a way to work together to aggregate information together to facilitate your need as a broker and my need as both of us serve the consuming public. People like the Council of Multiple Listing Services, their piece is not particularly to dictate to the MLS community, but rather to show it what best practices are, ways that they can be effective businesses, showing opportunities to learn from others who in a different marketplace might be doing something you never dreamed was possible, and they show you exactly how. On the other side of that comes the association. Many MLSs are owned by their local association as a benefit to the brokers that they serve. And ultimately speaking, that's where the National Association of Realtors is. the National Association sees the broad perspective of where real estate and MLS trends are across the country. And so by sharing that information and partnering with CMLS, partnering with the brokerage community, the idea is to be able to make a more informed consumer of MLS services, that being the broker and the agent on the street. I think driving the bus is a three-way agreement. I think it's the brokers who control the content and the actual listings, partnering with their multiple listing service as an effective tool to share offers of compensation, to aggregate data in a way that benefits the brokers through market analysis, historic data that we can use to inform consumers. And lastly, the National Association and the local associations, whose job it is to help provide that backstop that meets the cooperation side of listings, but also sees the greater trend in putting together other services for brokerage that makes the marketplace. So I think actually it takes three of us to drive the bus. Any one of us by ourselves trying to be the leader in that situation is missing the boat.
Well, I think I agree with that. That's a good analysis, Rick. And I just want to thank you because it's wonderful for me here as the little guy here in Ocean County, New Jersey, to be able to call upon and speak to somebody, like yourself, who does appear prominently on the national stage and has a different outlook in that respect on what's going on in the day-to-day life of brokers. So I don't even want to touch on any of this new stuff that just came out of NAR in Chicago this week with the MLS policies 7.42 and 7.43, all the stuff that's being called MLS of choice. But perhaps I can reach out to you in the coming weeks so we can chat about that topic.
Oh, I'd be so happy to be of help.
Okay, thank you so much, Rick. You have a great day.
And on the Jersey Shore, a place that I love, you guys have a great day.
Thank you very much.